lunch entertainment for y'all. We have one of our declaimers. This won't be a competition, part of the competition, but one of our declaimers, Mary Sanapoo, has actually memorized the Declaration of Independence. And it's a tradition for her to recite it on the 4th of July. So please welcome me in bringing Mary up to the stage.
It is really an honor and privilege to be here in Vermont. And one thing that I think that we've all learned through this week, whether it's your first Coolidge Cup or one of many, is that Coolidge had a deep love for Vermont. He loved his country, he loved his state, he loved the hills of Vermont. But what we read when we read about how Coolidge loved his state is we have a deeper appreciation for our own. Wherever we're from, whether here or from the other side of the country, we too love where we're from, and we too want to defend it and to cherish it. It is because Coolidge is from there that he took that love with him to the White House, that he left with the power and integrity to come back to his home. And I hope that we can all have that appreciation for where we're from, and we can all love the United States of America. You see, the United States of America is so unique from all other nations. English writer, poet, and philosopher G.K. Chesterton once said, "America is the only nation in the world that is founded on a creed." Now today on this July 4th, I would love to remind you of that very creed, the Declaration of Independence. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have kept them with one another, and to assume on the powers of the earth the separate and equal stations to which the laws of nature and nature's God hath entitled them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish them, and institute a new government, laying its principles on such foundation, and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established cannot be altered for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces the absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them from altering from their former system of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having, in direct object, the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character thus marks every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States, of America and General Congress assembled, appealing before the supreme judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions due, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these sovereign colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is not to be totally dissolved, and that as independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to one another our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Did you know there were 56 founding fathers who signed the Declaration of Independence, knowing full well that the might of the British Empire would soon be set against their very well-being? Out of these, 5 were captured and tortured to death. 9 fought and died of wounds. 12 lost their homes and their family fortunes. Few lost their children to the war, and many were thrown into prisons. Yet through it all, they maintained one thing before their God and their countrymen: their sacred honor. This is what we celebrate every 4th of July, and this is what Coolidge wanted us to honor today. Thank you.